Hi, today we're going to talk about currents. So if we look at the old mariner's axiom and we relate it to the currents, then we will understand what it means. Here in gray, we have England up here and London. So this is where our sailors would have begun their journey. So if they're here and they want to get over here to Virginia, then they need to travel across. But if you notice, the current goes toward England, not away from it. So they wouldn't be able to go that way. So as you can see, the currents go up here, and if you follow the arrows, they go in circles here, come down and around to Africa and down to South America. So if we begin our journey here in London, England, and we travel south till our butter melts, what might that mean? Think about what that might mean. What does this dashed line represent? Look all the way across. Tropic of Cancer. So if this is the Tropic of Cancer, think about what that means when it comes to the temperature outside. If we go further, here's the other line. What does that mean? That represents what? It represents the equator. Now we know that as we get closer to the equator, it begins to heat up. It's much warmer down in the tropical zones. So if we are starting in London and we travel south and the climate is getting warmer, we go until our butter melts, then turn right. So if we're traveling this way, right is here. Look at where that takes us. If we follow the currents, remember these are sailing ships. They didn't have motors back then. You can't really go against the current unless there's super strong winds taking you. So we're going to go with the current, and look at this. It takes us right up into the Caribbean, up the coast of Florida, and then up into Virginia. Okay. And then on the way home, it can take us right back to England. So think about a couple of things. What would happen if you went too far? Let's say we went all the way down, our butter has melted and some. What would happen? Couple of things. Look at this. It could take us either to Africa, or it would take us way down to Brazil in South America, which would add a huge distance to our travels. The other thing I want you to look at is you would think you'd want to go the shortest distance, which would be straight across. But what's the problem with that? Why can't we go straight across? Look at those currents. Why can't we go straight across? What would happen if we jumped out into this current here? Where do those arrows take us? Would they take us over to Virginia, or would they take us elsewhere? So we want you to think about how those currents played huge roles in sailing in the 1600s.